Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the wonderful Adrien Behn.
Hey guys. So I know it looks like I should be running some gallery in Manhattan, but I promise that I am a fierce solo female traveler. I can whittle down my essentials into a 10-kilo carry-on and use an airplane blanket as a scarf, toga, yoga mat, impromptu picnic blanket. I am resourceful. Or poor. I'm pretty poor too. This entire outfit is hand-me-down. So in 2015, I moved to Manhattan, and you have to get the job to afford living in Manhattan, and I became location dependent for 3 years, and I hated my job. It was soulless, and I was so wanderlusty, and 3 years later, I am sitting on my friend Dave's couch. It's October 2018, and there is this giant map in Dave's apartment, and I am just staring at it, and I'm like, I just want to get back out there again. And Dave and I were an OkCupid success story. We met on the first weekend that I was in New York, and we had a great first date. We laughed the entire time. We hooked up and immediately decided to be friends. And we did the whole we'll just hang out platonically, and we didn't do the flake on each other. And I bump into him the one time I'm not wearing makeup on the subway. We actually maintained a real friendship. We celebrated birthdays and New Year's and did coffee dates, and Dave was my dude. And so I'm just sitting on his couch and I'm venting about my job, and he's like, well, I am gonna do a big backpacking trip throughout Southeast Asia in about 3 months. And I had never been to Southeast Asia, and I was feeling reckless. I was like, I wanna quit, I wanna do this. I was getting that itch. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save up a little bit of money, and I'm gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna go to Southeast Asia. So 2 months go by, I squirrel away enough money, and I quit my job, and a week before Dave leaves, I give him a call. And I'm like, dude, I'm coming. We decide to meet in a month in Thailand, and he's like, I'm so excited that you're coming. A few little caveats, because I planned this a while ago. The week that you're coming, I have a few friends that I'm staying with. We already got housing, so you gotta find your own place. And I'm like, that's fine. I love my own space. And he's like, I might have to do some remote work. Shouldn't be that big of an issue. I was like, that's totally fine. So a month goes by, and I am dreaming of beaches and sunsets and all that jazz in cold New York winter. And 2 days before I leave, I send him a text, and I'm like, hey dude, I'm so excited. I am so pumped. And day turns to night, and I don't hear from him. I'm like, well, I can't imagine that Lao has very good service. If it was hard for the troops to get through the Vietnam jungle, I can't imagine Verizon's had a very good time either. It's fine. It's probably fine. So the next day, I'm at JFK. I've got my 10-kilo carry-on backpack. I send Dave another message. I use airplane mode for its real purpose. I turn my phone off, and I get on an 8-hour flight to Oslo. And 8 hours later, I wake up in Norway, and it's freezing, and I turn my phone on, and I see that little red notification. I'm like, thank God, thank God, thank God. So I click on it, and it's my fucking mom, who has a sixth sense for when I am desperate for a text, and she's like, hope you're having a great time. And I'm like, God damn it, Karen. And so I start messaging him on everything, email and LinkedIn and Ashley Madison, anything that has a messaging service. I'm like, please respond. And then I'm like, chill out. This is the joys of travel, Dave is your friend. It's gonna be fine. And besides, I can't stay in Norway because I only have bikinis as clothing. So I get on a however many flight to Thailand, and 7 time zones later, I wake up on a Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning in Bangkok, and I turn on my phone, and I get a message from Dave, and I'm like, thank God, awesome, everything's cool. And it reads, hey, I'm kind of busy this week. dinner Friday? I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, with this casualness of like, hey, I'm gonna stay in, like, roomies got seamless. And I'm like, but that's annoying if I'm in Brooklyn. But I am the farthest part away from Brooklyn without leaving the planet. Like, what do you mean you're suddenly busy? And I was like, what the? And sorry, I forgot to mention one minor detail. We didn't agree to meet in like a big city like Chiang Mai or Bangkok. We agreed to meet on a remote island off the Gulf of Thailand. So now I have one more flight to catch and I don't know if I should get on it. But I guess I have dinner plans on Friday, so, okay. And so I get on this smart car with wings, and within an hour, I'm on this beautiful island that I've been dreaming about, and I can't enjoy any of it. And so I'm like one step at a time. So I get to the bungalow that I'm staying with, and I chat up the woman who's hosting me, and I don't tell her that I'm traveling with friends because I don't know if I'm traveling with friends. And so she's like, you know, there's a night market happening right now. You can go get some food. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. All right, I'll take my mind off of things. So I walk to this night market, and I kid you not, within 15 minutes of walking around, I bump into Dave. And he's like, hey, like it's a New York moment. Like, what are the odds that we would bump into each other on an island we both agreed to be on? And I'm like, be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Because I don't know what's going on. And he's like, how's it going? And I'm like, just chilling, you know, nothing crazy. And so we agree to go, so some of his friends come and we agree to like go out and get dinner. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna win the friends over and I don't know what's going on here. And so I'm chatting them up and I'm being charming and amicable and funny and like low key. And it doesn't even matter because Dave is on his phone the entire time. And I'm like, oh, catching up on all those messages. Great service out here, huh? It's crazy. But I'm like, so at a certain point, I get clubbed over the head with jet lag, and I'm like, okay, I just need to go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed, but like, I'm totally down to, you know, get a coffee or do a night market with you guys tomorrow. And they were like, yeah, totally. And I never hear from them the rest of the time. And I am fuming, and not because I am on the equator. And like kids were nicer in middle school. Like what I'm feeling isn't FOMO because I am actively missing out. And I'm like reeling through every single interaction I've had with this person for 3 years. Like, where did I take a breath wrong? Like, who deserves being, like, if you were going to ghost me, why now? On an island. This is some Robinson Crusoe shit. Like, what is going on? At a certain point, I'm like, I don't need this. I switch on solo female travel mode and I have a great time. I do temples, I spin fire on the beach and all the other nonsense white people do in exotic places. So, at the end of my week there, it's Saturday and I get an email from Dave. And I delete it immediately. No, I opened it. And it read, hey, I just kind of wanted to apologize. See, when we chatted, I really kind of just wanted to hang out with this group of friends, and I just want to be nice to you because I'm kind of a people pleaser. I was like, I'm not pleased. Like, no part of me is happy about this. And so I'm like, whatever. I don't need this. So I travel for a little bit longer. I circumvent the globe, and I come back to New York, and I decide to not forgive Dave because there's no Hallmark card for, hey, dear blank, I'm sorry I deserted you on an island. Like, I've never walked by that section in Walgreens. And I was like, clearly don't need your friendship. And so in April, I am at a New York City salon event and I bump into Dave. And he's like, hey. And I was like, no, and I walk away. And the next day I get an email from him, and he goes, hey, I was kind of bummed that you seemed uncomfortable seeing me. And I was like, oh, you know what I was bummed about? Thank you so much.
Hey, Adrien Behn, everyone.